Hello, I'm Bonnie Jean Puller. So I'm really bad at Smash, right? I'll be playing and then my cat bites my foot and then boom, I fall right off the edge. And then I'll switch characters and it'll take me 30 seconds to remember how the new character's moves work. But I love Smash Bros. I love how there are more dudes with headbands than there are girls with headbands. But most of all, I love that I can take these beloved characters and their iconic outfits and make them whatever color I want, within reason. But then I thought, what if I could make their outfits whatever color I wanted, but not within reason? I decided then and there that I was going to make at least one new alt for every single character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But I wasn't going to half-ass this and just put everyone in a swimsuit like Shulk, because that's cheating. So I did a lot of research into each character's home games, and by that I mean I looked through the spirits list and I looked for any that had pretty color schemes, and I repainted the character portrait art in Photoshop. I thought this would be a short project, but that was because I forgot how to count to 83. So let's keep each fighter quick and jump straight in. So ever since the retirement of the Fire Mario outfit after Smash 4, none of Mario's current costumes have been based on power-ups, which is really weird given the dozens upon dozens of Mario power-ups there are. Some of the most popular Mario costume requests are one based on power-ups, so I'm gonna put in a vote for Penguin Baby. Look at this, it's so cute! Moving on to recolors, the first one I made was this white and blue alt inspired by Toad, a Mario staple species. It does vaguely resemble the Fire Mario alt that was discontinued in Ultimate in favor of the wedding alt, but this alt has a blue shirt to match Toad's blue vest. As a side note, this was the beginning of the long and fruitless struggle to make things white without blanching out the image. Secondly, I made an all-brown alt to look like the first smiling face that greets you when you start any 2D Mario game, the Goomba. So I made this one look like a banana. It's based off of a banana, which is a fruit in real life and in Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong likes bananas, I like bananas, so win-win, this alt is a banana. No, seriously, DK's current alts represent a wide range of his appearances, from the beginning in the 80s through the Donkey Kong Country games in the 90s and 2010s. But for this alt, I decided to look back to the very beginning. I gave him a red furred alt with green skin to resemble the background of the 75M stage as seen in Smash and the original Donkey Kong. I even made the tie yellow and red like those elevator thingies are. I thought it'd be fun, since this new Link is based off his look from Breath of the Wild, to give him alts based on his now-deceased friends, the Champions of Hyrule. Starting off, I gave him a mostly brown look with white hair and red accents to match Daruk, the champion of the Gorons. I decided to make each alt's boots and gloves the same color as each champion's power-up you get from completing the Divine Beasts, so Daruk's are red. Next up we have a blue, yellow, and green look based on Rivali, the champion of the Rito. Next, here's a red, blue, and white one based on Mipha, the champion of the Zora. Lastly, and this one is my favorite, we have a red, green, and yellow alt based on Urbosa, the champion of the Gerudo. Metroid is a cool series, but alas the games are usually Samus's one-woman show, leaving me with few options for her besides her various suits she's worn over the years, which have been covered fairly well in her alts already. But you know what else, besides the suit, has followed Samus across all her games? The ship, of course. It's even followed her to Smash, only to get destroyed by Ridley. But regardless, let's celebrate the ship with a yellow alt, especially since Samus doesn't already have a yellow alt. Okay, Dark Samus's alts are going to have to work differently than everyone else's. Selecting every blue vein would have taken forever and a day, so she's the only character I used the color select tool on. It had difficulty selecting all the blue veins, but only the blue veins, so this is what I ended up with. It's a little different than everyone else's, but I still think it turned out cool. For Dark Samus, I made her an alt based on the other notable female from a loose definition of female, villain in Metroid, Mother Brain, with a blue body and reddish-pink veins. I really like how this turned out, even though the blue turned out kinda purplish. It's bizarre to me that Yoshi's never had a Birdo alt. Sure, Yoshi's always been full to bursting with his own colors, but who doesn't want a hot pink Yoshi? I know I do. Moving on, a lot of the animals of Smash have alts based on the real-life animals they're based on. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, for instance, have alts based on real monkeys, and all of Duck Hunt's alts are real dogs and birds. So I thought it'd be funny to make Yoshi an alt based off a real-world horse. I based it off an Appaloosa horse, which are those horses that have the white rears with the spots on them. I gave Yoshi a white shell with spots on it to resemble the real horse. Next, I have zero idea why this isn't already in the game, but we need an alt based off of Gooey, the darling blob of friendly dark matter. Gooey is the greatest thing of all time, and so easy to just make Kirby dark blue. I left the feet the same color though, because Gooey's tongue is kinda the same color as Kirby's shoes. Secondly, I gave Kirby a black and white alt to resemble Sandbag, a Smash Bros. Staple who has a similar eye shape. Sandbag can blush in Ultimate, so I left Kirby's blush intact. The first alt I made for Fox gives him the colors of his colleague Slippy Toad. This alt gives him green fur, blue pants, and a slightly more beige jacket. Though I can't help but admit this one's a bit of an eyesore, it's still very distinctive. Secondly, I made him a white and blue alt based on the look of his beloved R-Wing. The last alt I made for him is also white, but instead of being based on something from Star Fox, I made him an alt based on one of the Fox Pokemon that appears summons in Ultimate, Alolan Vulpix. I thought that the orange Fennekin and regular Vulpix would be too similar to his base fur color, although I imagine you wouldn't need both this alt and the R-Wing one. You'll notice that I changed the laser gun to be blue, and ideally in this alt, it had changed the lasers in the neutral special to be blue, not unlike how Alolan Vulpix shoots blue ice. It's well known that there's a new electric-type rodent every gen, commonly dubbed Pika clones. Pikachu's current alts don't reference any of them, so let's change that. Of the lot, I nabbed 2 for Pikachu's alt. Pachirisu, the Pika clone of Diamond and Pearl, which is a white, blue, and yellow squirrel, and Togedemaru from Sun and Moon, which is a steel electric hedgehog. Lastly, it only seemed appropriate to give Pikachu an alt not based on a fellow electric type, but on Pikachu's new partner in crime and franchise mascot, Eevee, painting in shades of brown. As for the girl Pikachu, because I did say that I was doing all the alternate genders, can we get the other cosplay Pikachu forms? I feel bad that only Pikachu Libre has gotten any recognition outside of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Where's my love for Pikachu Bell? Luigi already has his Fire Luigi palette in Smash, as he doesn't have a wedding outfit to change it out for, so I instead gave him the colors of the Fire Flower power-up. I also gave him a yellow, orange, and pink outfit based on one of those classic Mario baddies that doesn't seem to have much of a presence in Smash, the Wiggler. It's not even a background stage element, so I thought it'd be nice to give the little guy some love as a Luigi alt. I imagine that it'd be too much work to make it change to red if Luigi gets footstooled or something, but if it did that, it'd be really funny. So this one is based on Chris Chan. No, seriously, the alt I made for Ness is based on the Flying Men, the residents of Magicant that help Ness out on his journey and help you out in Smash. He's rocking the yellow and magenta look on the shirt, and it looks really neat. I want you to show me a move. Captain Falcon already has a decent chunk of his F-Zero brethren immortalized his alts, so I took inspiration for his alts from another action-heavy game. I gave him a red and black look based on Wonder Red from the Wonderful 101. Though not having much in common at first glance, both have a penchant for cool black masks with glowing white eyes and cool scarves, and both have an iconic punching attack. Imagine getting Falcon punched by a Unite hand. Speaking of the Falcon Punch, I made him an alt that looks like the Falcon Punch, so you can be a walking, talking Falcon Punch and be awesome. And who doesn't want to be a human Falcon Punch? Now, I love Puffy's hats. They're adorable, but she never changes skin tone. To be fair, pink is the best color and Jigglypuff looks fabulous and whatever, but there's a few other Pokemon I wanted to give her alts based on. First off is Ditto, the blobby baby that appears for the first time in Ultimate as a summon. Now, Ditto can already transform into Puff, so I left her eyes the same color so you can tell them apart when Ditto Puff is on the screen. Next, a half red, half white one based on Voltorb, or a Pokeball if you prefer. Lastly, Puffy's getting an alt based on one of the sweetest new Pokeball summons for Ultimate, the doll baby Pyukumuku. This one makes Jigglypuff a dark gray with pink eyes and, in a first, pink ears.
We run this mother.
Where is my girl Pink Gold Peach? Now personally, I love Pink Gold Peach. Everyone's just a little saltier when they lose to Pink Gold Peach. And imagine if Pink Gold Peach could use the la 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 taunt. Ooh, the salt would be palpable. For real though, I had some trouble. Mario's really only got 5 major ladies: Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Pauline, and Toadette. 3 of them are playable here, and we wouldn't want them crossing colors to the point where you'd get them confused in a busy battle, and they all have red alts and pink alts already. So I had to think outside the box. I made Peach 2 new alts. First off, I made her a pink and white alt based on Rabid Peach from the Mario & Rabbids Kingdom battle game, which was one of the first big Mario games on the Switch. I made the crown and parasol handle purple like the default gun, and I made Peach's hair more saturated, not unlike Rabid Peach's wig. Secondly, I made an alt based on Peach's replacements as damsel in distress for one of the games she was playable in, the Sprixie Princesses from Super Mario 3D World. Well, specifically I chose the purple one because it filled a hole in Peach's current alts. Daisy has the best alts in the game, hands down. But her hair color never changes. Seeing that Peach had that alt that gave her auburn hair like Daisy for so many years, I thought it'd only be fair to let Daisy in on that blonde life with this alt that gives her a white and yellow color scheme based on an actual Daisy flower, including the ones in her final Smash. I also gave her a Sprixie Princess alt, this one based on the Cyan Princess. For Bowser, I had a lot of options. I could give him an alt based on one of his mooks or one of his underbosses. I could have given him an alt inspired by a real species of turtle. I could have given him an alt based on another Nintendo primary villain. But I decided the best choice for a new Bowser alt, since he's the big bad of Mario's series, would be an alt based on the big bad of Luigi's series. This King Boo alt is probably one of my favorite alts I've made for the series. Bowser looks so good in white and purple with pink hair. I adore this. Now, the ice climbers are nice climbers, but they just don't give me a ton of source material. They and Min Min are the only playable characters whose franchises consist of only a single game. What's more, basically every color under the sun is already on at least one of them in at least one of their alts. So for the snow babies, I gave them an Aurora colored alt, specifically based on the aurora and the skies over their summit stage, which is green and red. They also look rather festive for Christmas as an added bonus. The summit stage also appeared in Brawl, but back then the aurora was green and pink, so I made them an alt with that color palette too. So I've been getting back into Hyrule Warriors in anticipation for Age of Calamity, so I gave Sheik an alt based on Lana, one of the original characters to the first Hyrule Warriors game. I really like the idea of giving Sheik a dramatically different hair color, and that orange scarf is amazing. I also gave her an alt based on Tetra, the other notable alter ego as Zelda has taken over the years, this time the one from Wind Waker. Yeah, Sheik's already kinda got an alt in this color scheme, specifically that last one, but this one follows Tetra's design a bit more closely. The Zelda spirit that caught my eye the most was obviously the Windfish, mostly because it's an absolute mess of a color palette. But I made it work on Zelda, I think. It's certainly something. It's growing on me. Lastly, I'm making Zelda a highly requested alt, an alt based on Hilda. No, not that. No, not that Hilda either. Yeah, that Hilda. It seems like a strange omission, especially given that Zelda is based on her appearance from the game that Hilda was in, but here it is regardless. And you know what? You guys can come in too. Doc Mario's alts aren't awful, but they are all monochrome, which seems a little weird given the multicolored pills he throws. You could do any combination of colors, but I did blue top, red bottom, but any combination would be cool and make sense as an alt. Also, Dr. Mario has seen a bit of a resurgence in the past year as his game has gotten a spruce up for the mobile market, Dr. Mario World. Now, most of the Mario cast has a new Doctor look, and there's one Doctor in particular that is so iconic and beloved that it deserves to have representation in Smash Bros. If becoming playable isn't on the table, it at least needs to be one of Doc's color palettes. Dr. Goomba Tower. This totally legit professional doctor has earned the right to be represented as a palette swap for Doc. I just made it brown, didn't I? I just made it brown. For Pichu, I gave him two of a pair. Simple alts, really. Two more Pika clones of note are Plusle and Minun, the pair from Ruby and Sapphire designed to showcase the new double battle mechanic with their complementary abilities. Yellow, but one with red accents like ear tips and tail, and one blue. Sweet and simple, just like Pichu. I made Falco a purple, green, and pink alt based on the Aperoids, the main villainous creatures of Star Fox Assault. Falco really needs more alts like these that change his feather color, they always look so good. Speaking of, like Fox before him, I made Falco an alt based on a Pokemon similar to him, in this case the common Kanto bird, Pidgeot. This one gives Falco brown feathers, and his clothing is now beige, orange, and pink, just like the bird it's based on. Where is no pants, Marth? Why can we not celebrate that period of Marth's life where he thought Zap Brannigan was a serious fashion icon? He's all over the 30th anniversary re-release stuff, and I don't think I see a single pair of pants on it. Clearly you guys don't think it's something best left behind us, so why can't we have no pants Marth in Smash? Moving on, this may be news to you, but there are actually Fire Emblem lords that aren't playable in Smash. Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 of them, although a decent chunk of them are already somebody else's alt. Of the remaining few, 2 jumped out to me to make alts for both Marth and Lucina because they're boy-girl pairs. So I gave Marth an alt for Alm, the male lead of the second game in its recent 3DS remake, and to Frame, the male lead of the Sacred Stones. Lastly, I decided to give Marth another shout out to one of Lucina's alts. Lucina has a red and green alt based on how Tiki appeared in the time of Fire Emblem Awakening, so I gave Marth an alt on how Tiki appeared in his day. This is definitely up there with King Boo Bowser for one of my favorites. I gave Lucina alts based on the female counterparts to the ones I made for Arth, a Celica alt to go with the Alm one, and an Irika one to go with the Ephraim one. But Lucina's current alts are based on other female party members from Awakening, but only one of them is based off a woman who can potentially be Lucina's mother. That would be Sumiya, the gray and purple alt. So I made 2 more alts based on other women Chrom can marry and in turn be Lucina's mother. Olivia, an alt which gives Lucina pink hair and beige clothes, and Maribel, which gives Lucina blonde hair and pink clothes. He can also marry Sully, but since she's got red hair and grey clothes, I imagine it'd be too similar to the Shersha or the Cordelia alts, and he can also marry female Robin, but since she's already playable, I stuck with these 2. And here's one based off Lucina's eternal rival, Peppa Pig. So this alt is based on the moon. The moon is the moon in Majora's Mask and in real life, although the real moon is nice and not murdery. I also made young Link an alt based on the cuckoo, the devil chicken seen across the Zelda series. Ganondorf got a spiffy new redesign for Ultimate that's winning a lot of new fans, so I gave him 2 spiffy new looks. The first is based off of Demise, the original incarnation of Ganon, or Ganon's reincarnation of him, I don't know, timelines are hard. But he was the final boss in Skyward Sword. He gets orange hair and a brown, red, and gold outfit. Secondly, here's an alt based on Calamity Ganon from Breath of the Wild. He appears as black and pink swirly goop and a swirly pig head, so I thought making the design on the cape pink with a black background would be a cool way to implement the look. I really love this one. There's a lot of things that are true about Mewtwo, but 2 are most prominent. A, it's a legendary Pokemon, and B, it's a Psychic-type Pokemon. Most of Mewtwo's extant alts are based on other colors it's had over the years, so I wanted to throw around some love for its Psychic legendary buddies. My brain immediately jumped to Lugia, because let's be honest, Lugia is just Mewtwo but with wings, but then I realized that a Lugia-inspired alt would basically be the same as the blue alt he already has. I nixed alt based on Sinnoh's Lake Guardians for similar reasons. So then I thought about Cresselia, a Psychic-type legendary from Diamond and Pearl said to bring good dreams. It also didn't turn out great, but there is one Psychic-type Pokemon I did have luck with, though it's not a legendary, Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet, once a summon back in the days of Brawl, is a blue punching bag with a black tail, and I gave the same color palette to Mewtwo. Funny, isn't it? For Roy, I gave him alts based on 2 notable figures from his series of games. First is Lilina, the daughter of Hector and one of the notable members of Roy's party in the Binding Blade, along with being a potential love interest. This gives Roy blue hair and a blue and orange outfit. Secondly, I gave him a blue and brown outfit with green hair to reference Lyn, one of the lords of the prequel game, Blazing Blade. Both of these alts are really cool and good looking, and they change the color of Roy's hair, which he doesn't normally do. Also, I thought it'd be sweet to give the 2 Roys alts based on each other. Roy the person gets to rock the pink and red look now. Be honest, Sakurai, did you decide on Joker first and then put Chrom in because you needed a Yusuke for the spirit battle? Moving on, for a guy whose name means colorful, Chrom really only likes one color, and yes, I acknowledge I'm throwing stones from my glass house as someone with purple hair and a purple scarf. But like his daughter, Chrom's alts are mostly based off the party members from Awakening, but of course Chrom gets the males from the party, so I gave him 2 more. Here's one similar to his default look, but with more of a teal tint and brown shoes based on Virion, one of the party's archers, and a red-headed alt with a black cape and brown, gray, and gold clothes based on Gaius, a thief who can join the party if recruited by Chrom. For Mr. Game, I turned to one of his only starring roles in the 21st century for inspiration, the Subspace Emissary from Smash Bros. Brawl. In that game, Mr. Game & Watch was a totally neutral entity and the source of all the shadow bugs, mysterious embodiments of subspace. They're purple, and Mr. Game & Watch doesn't have a purple alt yet, so purple! A lot of his other alts are based on Nintendo hardware, so I gave him a pink alt based on the pink DS I had as a girl. It's so cute! I had a ton of ideas for Meta Knight actually. There's a lot of bright and colorful Kirby bosses and enemies that I could have turned into cool costumes for Meta Knight. But since Meta Knight already has a Galactonite costume, the white and pink one, why not give him an alt based on one of Galactonite's newer appearances? This orange and yellow alt is based on Morpho Knight, a new boss from Kirby Star Allies. Morpho Knight was created when a butterfly consumed the power of Galactonite, creating a new orange warrior, so I changed Meta Knight's palette to match his. Morpho Knight also has a stronger form fought on higher difficulties called Morpho Knight EX, which gives him an edgy red and black color scheme. I made an alt of that too. I had a lot of fun with Pit's alts. First, I gave him an alt of different shades of purple in honor of one of his recurring enemies throughout the entire franchise, the Eggplant Wizard. It also sorta calls to mind the blue and purple alt he had in Smash 4, but this one's more purple than blue. Lastly, I gave him a super bright warm color palette based on the flaming Pyron, the god of scenery chewing from Kid Icarus Uprising. An alt for Dark Pit seemed obvious. Dark Pit is an edgy boy, so I gave him an alt based on the best of the edgy boys, Shadow the Hedgehog. Black, red, the works, one edgy boy supporting another edgy boy. But taking inspiration from Kid Icarus's villains again, I gave him an alt based on the big man downstairs, Hades. Mostly purple, but with touches of red, magenta, and green hair, this is another one of my favorite alts from this video. For Zero Suit Samus, I gave her an alt based on the titular critters from her series, the Metroid. This brighter color palette than usual is more so based off the Metroid's appearance in Smash, where everything's more bright and saturated, more so than Samus's more muted home games. Also now, because Zero Suit Samus can crawl, Metroid can finally crawl! Wario's got a colorful cast of characters in his home games, but out of all of them, I was drawn to the color scheme of Captain Syrup, Wario's rival from the Wario Land series. I gave him her purple, red, and blue color scheme, making the jacket red in lieu of changing his hair color. I even made those helmet straps by his ears gold to match her earrings. Obviously most of Wario's supporting cast could have made decent alts, but the Captain Syrup alt is really good on him. So this one is based off the cardboard box. Like I'm not even joking this time. Everyone loves the cardboard box. Yeah, alas, Snake's Metal Gear compatriots and adversaries just aren't giving me a ton of inspiration, as they are all pretty muted in tone. Maybe they should take more cues from the WarioWare guys. But there is one MGS boy who needs an alt. I'm of course talking about Big Boss. Or at least give Snake the eye patch. Please, there's only one eye patch in the whole game, and it's on a furry. Can we please get more eye patches in Smash? Also looking at you, Dimitri Colored Byleth. The Fire Emblem characters, and the more detailed characters in general, were really high-effort, high-reward characters. It took so long to get every last detail organized by colors, but these alts just look so good. For Ike, I gave him 2 alts based on notable female party members. A mostly orange alt with green hair based on Alincia, the princess that Ike serves in Path of Radiance. Despite looking ever so slightly like a creamsicle, I really like the orange look for Ike. To be fair, Alincia also kind of looks like a creamsicle. Moving on, I also gave him a blue, purple, brown, and gold alt based on Micaiah, whatever, the secondary lord of Radiant Dawn. I adore that blue and purple cape. I love it. I just wish Micaiah didn't have that white hair. It really makes Ike look older than he should. Speaking of older, I probably should have made this alt for the Radiant Dawn Ike since she's only in that game, but I like it on Path of Radiance Ike regardless. The Pokemon trainers had the weird distinction of being the only Pokemon humans to appear in a Smash Ultimate, even in all the spirits. The only other recognition any Pokemon humans get are a few of Pikachu, Jigglypuff, and Pichu's alts being based on their headgear, like Puff in the Serena cap or Pichu's Team Skull and Team Aqua bandanas. So I had a massive pool of Poke-humans to pick other alts from here. I thought about doing alts based on some of the rivals like Blue or Wally or Barry. I thought about doing some of the more famous gym leaders like Misty or Sabrina. But I ended up deciding on the 3 team leaders from Pokemon Go. Smash Ultimate does give Nintendo's mobile market a nod by including music from Fire Emblem Heroes, so why not reference Nintendo's most successful mobile game? I gave the girl trainer alts for Team Valor's Candela, which admittedly doesn't change much from the default, aside from removing the green and yellow from the color scheme, brightening the red, and making her hair a different brown, and Team Mystic's Blanche, who ended up with a really pretty blue color scheme with just a hint of magenta. The boy, of course, got an alt based on my boy Spark from Team Winstinct, giving him blonde hair with black, yellow, and orange clothes. I could have gone on all day with Pokemon Trainer, but I'm quite proud of these 3. The Pokemon trainers themselves have at least 1 alt for every gen between 1 and 7, but the Pokemon themselves are just repetitions of a color palette. Now, that makes sense so people don't lose track of their set of Pokemon, but what if, instead of being monochrome, their palettes instead followed each generation's starters? Yeah, there's 2 Gen 1 trainers, but we could just give the girl the Gen 8 starters in Absentia, Victor, and Gloria. I just decided to do a few proofs of concept per starter. For Squirtle, I made Sobble for the female trainer, Mudkip for the male alt trainer, and Oshawott for the Hilda alt trainer. Continuing on with that theme, I gave Ivysaur a yellow and green alt based on Chikorita's middle form Bayleaf, and it's also kind of an inverse of its current yellow alt. This one would go with the Ethan Pokemon trainer. I also made a green, brown, and yellow alt based on the middle form of Turtwig, Grottle, and this one would go with the Lucas Pokemon trainer. I'm realizing about now that these sets of alts would have the potential to be very similar across the board. I mean, all the grass starters are some shade of green, all the water starters are blue, for instance, making these alts potentially easily confused with each other in the heat of battle, but I still think it's a fun thought exercise here in the Black Void. Lastly, rounding this off, I gave Charizard a teal, yellow, and orange alt based on Typhlosion, the final form of Cyndaquil from Gen 2. This one would go alongside that Bayleaf with the Ethan Pokemon trainer. And a white, yellow, and orange alt based on Cinderace, the adult Scorbunny from Gen 8, which would stand alongside the default female trainer. This was a really fun set of costume ideas, and I think I did a lot of good hard work on them. So this one is also based on a banana. Yeah, I know nada about Donkey Kong that I can't glean from the DK rap. Oh hey, how about a Lanky Kong alt? He doesn't have one of those. Let's see, what do I know about Lanky Kong? He has a funny face, whatever. Oh, he apparently likes the DK rap, so I guess I can trust his judgment on everything. Yeah, he's getting an alt. So this one is based on Jimmy Neutron. For real, I gave Lucas an alt based on the Ultimate Chimera, that thing in the New Pork City stage that'll KO you from looking at it too hard. Apparently it does the same thing in Mother 3, but it's pink. I like pink. Let's make Lucas pink with purple stripes like the Chimera's wings, and with brighter yellow hair like the bird on its head. So this one is based on Sonichu. Okay, I couldn't not. I built my life around this awful rat. Moving on, Sonic is blue, except for the arms. But one of the longest running alts complaints in Smash is that all of Sonic's alts are some shade of blue, although he does now have a singular black alt. But Sonic the Hedgehog is the single most recolorable being on the planet. Give him something that's not blue. I decided to let his buddies in on the fun and gave him an orange alt for Tails, a red alt for Knuckles, and a pink alt for Amy. These took me like 2 seconds apiece. King Dedede is a fun guy. He's got a larger-than-life personality, and that's why we love him. He's also got a great lineup of alts already, so let's give this clown an alt based on another clown of Kirby. Marx the Jester, a villain of Kirby Superstar turned friend by Star Allies, as well as a boss in Ultimate. This would give Dedede purple skin and multicolored clothing. Ideally, I'd like to have made the belt have the pattern of the hexagons of Marx's wings, but as it is, I gave the belt the colors of the hairbow. I like Olimar and all, but what if Olimar was the Pikmin? I made him Pikmin-colored alts. But Bonnie, you ask, there are 7 colors of Pikmin and only 2 playable captains in Smash. How did you pick which one would be in what colors? So Olimar came out in Pikmin 1, right? And red, blue, and yellow Pikmin also came out in that game. So that's what he got. Alph came out in Pikmin 3, and that's where Rock and Wing Pikmin debuted. I am so tired, and we're only halfway there. Pikachu may be the most famous Pokemon to spin off a new clone each set of games, but he's not the only one. Lucario was a runaway success in the late 2000s, so basically every gen since then, there's been at least one 2-stage line of Pokemon with a cute baby form and a cool anthropomorphic adult stage, usually with some kind of gimmick. So I based Lucario's new alts off of these guys. First off was Zoroark, which hit the scene in the next set of mainline games and is probably the Pokemon that most frequently gets accused of being a Lucario clone. Most of his fur would turn dark gray and he'd have the black replaced with red. Gen 6 didn't introduce a new Lucario clone because Lucario himself was thrust back into the spotlight with his Mega, but Gen 7 brought us the Rockruff line, always evolving into Lycanroc but having a different form based on the time of day it was evolved and even which version of the game you were playing. Of the 3, I selected the version agnostic but limited edition Dusk form as that seems to have been the most marketed, and it gives Lucario a neat orange, brown, and white look. Lastly, Gen 8 introduced Toxtricity, which, while not a canine, appears to be this gen's Lucario alike. Of its 2 forms, I went with the amped form to give Lucario a purple and yellow scheme. Robbie here is another one of those retro reps who just doesn't have a ton of source material. The 2 games that use the actual Rob toy are simple, not fondly remembered, and due to their reliance on the Rob toy, haven't seen any sort of re-releases in their 30 years of existence. So, like Mr. Game, I turned to the Subspace Emissary for ideas, and I gave him an alt based on his ancient minister look from Subspace. He's already got a hunter green and brown outfit to resemble a Subspace Rob, so why not give him the colors of his starring role? A green and purple body with a red coil to go with the tassels, I think? I even gave him yellow eyes like the minister. A lot of his other alts are based on Nintendo hardware of old, so why not give him one from Nintendo hardware of new? Here's a blue and red alt based on the Switch's default Joy-Cons. Toon Link's alts are solid, simple and straight to the point. He had 4 colors and 4 swords, they're all here. All the links need a dark link? Got it covered. Need 3 more? Also here. But there's someone special in Toon Link's life who really should get an alt. One of Toon Link's reasonably well-known appearances is his appearance in The Legend of Zelda Link But Trains for the DS, and of course, I gave him an alt based on his buddy Alfonso. It seems obvious to add an Alfonso pattern because you and I both know exactly where he's gonna be when Toon Link's in the battle. He's gonna be driving the train, because he's got this. And we're going to be calling him up a whole lot more if we can get him and Toon Link to wear matching outfits. The only one of Wolfie Boy's buddies that really seemed like he'd make a cool alt is Leon Pawlowski, Team Star Wolf's sniper that's a chameleon. Also, giving Wolf a green alt based on his green teammate seemed like a neat callback to the Slippy Toad alt I made for Fox. Lastly, I completed the trio and gave Wolf his own Pokemon alt. This time I gave him the Fire Dog Arcanine as an alt. Aside from the beige parts kinda getting blanched out by Photoshop again, this one turned out really cool. I'm a little disappointed that none of Villager's current alts reference the hundreds upon hundreds of Animal Crossing characters. Like, I get that all the alts are actual pieces of clothing you can buy in the games, but why not bring your animal companions into the fray? I decided to base alts on the 8 new animals from New Horizons. Dom the sheep, Sherb the goat, Sid the elephant, and the beloved Raymond the cat for the boy, and Renee the horse, Megan the bear, Judy the bear cub, and my girl Audie the wolf for the girl. A lot of these new villagers are widely adored, so giving their color palettes to the Smash villagers would be a good move. Sky's the limit on Mega Man, because when he steals his boss's stuff, he changes color, and there's like 5 dozen Robot Masters in the series, so I decided to give him alts based on the power-ups of Mega Man 1 that aren't already in the game. In order, we've got Rolling Cutter, Super Arm, Ice Slasher, and Firestorm. He's already got palettes that'll suffice for Hyper Bomb and Thunder Beam. We could spend all day on Mega Man, so let's move on to... The Wii Fit trainers are men and women of simple tastes. They like exercise, they like wearing exercise clothes, and they like their bright primary colors. But wouldn't it be funny if we gave them alts based on their successors in Nintendo's exercise genre? Yep, I made them Ring Fit Adventure alts. Unfortunately, I said at the beginning no changing skin tones, and also the Ring Fit guys are wearing shoes while the Wii Fit guys aren't, but I suppose that's alright. This would be their only alt to change their hair color, making it auburn like the non-flaming version of the Ring Fit trainees' hair. It also changes the gray on the male version shirt to white. They're not flashy alts, but they are cute. Quick question / tangent, why isn't the color of Luma palette locked? I've heard people say that it can get really confusing in Rosalina dittos when there's Lumas flying every which way to tell which one is yours. Aside from changing that, I did give her 2 alts. First was her requisite Sprixie Princess alt. This time I did the Orange Princess, as Rosalina doesn't already have an orange look. I also wanted to give Rosie a look based on another classic star of Smash, Staryu, a classic summon. I gave Rosalina a brown dress with yellow accents, along with yellowing up her hair and some red gems on her outfit, along with red shoes. Brown, yellow, and red isn't a color palette you'd think would work, but I think Rosalina pulls it off. Little Mac's another one that gave me trouble because he's a pretty simple guy, his alts are solid, and his fellow boxers don't give me much to work with because apparently Max got the only shirt in the entirety of the WBVA. So I had to look pretty deep into Punch-Out history, desperately looking for a guy with a shirt. Oh hey, Donkey Kong was in the Wii game! How about a Donkey Kong alt? Ain't that funny? Looks pretty good too. Greninja is a water-type Pokemon, which, as you may know, is the most common type of Pokemon. So I had a lot of options for water types, even if the other starters were off the board because of what I was doing with Squirtle. My first alt is based on Melodic, a sea serpent-like water type from Ruby and Sapphire, which would make Greninja mostly beigeish yellow with a blue tongue, like Melodic's tail, and blue and pink accents. Secondly, pulling from Greninja's home region of Kalos, I made him an alt based on Volcanion, one of that region's mythical Pokemon, and as it's also part fire type, it'd give Greninja a much warmer color palette.
I promise that you'll never find another like me.
The Mii fighters are already customizable, and some of the outfits you can even customize the colors already. Do I need to make alts for the Miis? Actually, yeah. I don't think I need to make any alts for the Miis. But I did say I was gonna make alts for every character, and they do have numbers. So, what if I made the Slime Hat pink? Yeah, that looks nice.
You love how I move you.
So, Palutena was another one I had to look outside her home series for inspirations. My first thought was to give her one based on Gardevoir, another green-haired, white-dressed lady, but then I realized they'd just be a little too close, ditto for doing the obvious and giving her a Rhea alt, so I decided to go with Shiny Gardevoir instead because she'd get blue hair and a slightly off-white dress. I did give her a Kid Icarus palette though. She's already got a black and red palette based on how Medusa looks in Kid Icarus Uprising, but she doesn't have one based on Medusa's retro/monster form. I just seem to be really into the idea of making Palutena a blue net today, but that hot pink dress is so fab.
I've been having dreams.
Pac-Man's current alt situation is a curse I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and there's 4 obvious choices for alts. The Ghost's silly, you got Blinky, you got Pinky, you got Inky, you got Clyde. Make 'em alts pronto. As Lucina took most of the female Awakening party members' colors and Chrom took most of the male's colors, poor Robin got slim pickings for any references to their home game. So I had to go searching for them outside their home series. Smash is somewhat lacking in mages, particularly male mages, so the Robins get to play an eclectic bunch of characters in the spirit battles. So why not give Robin some alts based on some of the other mages they get to play there? Like, I don't know why Robin plays Shaft from Castlevania, or the Mage Sisters from Kirby Star Allies, or Blaze the Cat, but hey, let's make alts for them. One by one, the Shaft alt puts male Robin in a magenta and red outfit with some gold accents. Of the 3 Mage Sisters, I made female Robin an alt for Francisca, the Ice Mage, since she's already got red and yellow, and the Blaze the Cat alt is sort of like a cooled down version of the Shaft one with purple, magenta, and red. Lastly, to even things out, and because I was on a massive purple kick, I thought I'd be funny and give male Robin another Eggplant Wizard alt, even though he doesn't play the Eggplant Wizard in the Spirit Battle. Shulk's kind of in the same boat as Robin because he's already got an alt for every single Xenoblade 1 party member. And Xenoblade's another one of those series that hasn't been around long enough to accrue a backlog of beloved minor characters. But there are other Xenoblade games. The obvious choice is to give Shulk a Rex alt based on the star of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I imagine this alt would drive his many fans up a wall in the same way his Mii costume did, but I think it looks good on Shulk regardless. But despite the numbering system, there is another Xenoblade Chronicles game, the ill-fated Wii U-bound Xenoblade Chronicles X. I made him an alt based on that game's main character, Elma, with a mostly red look with some purple and white hair.
I'm a real wild one, wild one, wild one, wild one.
Ooh boy, the Koopalings. Let's rattle these off real quick because I based all of them on various Mario baddies. Bowser Jr. got an alt based on Boom Boom, another turtle who sometimes serves as mid-boss instead of Bowser Jr. This would give him a very warm-toned color scheme. Larry got a Shy Guy alt, a beloved little red, white, and blue baddie. I didn't change the shell on Larry, but it's already got a similar color scheme. Roy got a Babam alt, very simple and pretty, dark blue and orange. My girl Wendy, I gave a Pom Pom alt, Boom Boom's occasional partner in crime. I love that necklace. Iggy got a Kamek alt, this one's mostly blue to contrast Iggy's usual green. Morton got a Charging Chuck alt, a pretty blue and orange look. Lemmy got an alt based on Pidgeot, a sparingly recurring enemy originally from Mario Bros. 2 and seen on the Smash stage representing that game. And Ludwig I gave a Piranha Plant alt. Obviously the plant is already playable, but he is still one of those classic Mario baddies, plus none of the other notable baddies had a decent color scheme like Bloopers or Boos. Also, since I gave a Roy Koopa alt to Roy the Person, I thought I'd return the favor.
You ain't nothing but a...
Problem is, Duck Hunt Dog is the only dog in all of Duck Hunt. It's a simple game without a story. What other Nintendo franchise has a lot of dogs that come in a lot of different colors and coincidentally one I happened to play a lot as a child? No, seriously, I got a DS in 06 and I'm pretty sure I didn't get any other game for it until 09. Most of Duck Hunt's existing alts are references to real dog breeds and bird species in real life, so you could possibly take them as low-key shoutouts to Nintendogs already. Unfortunately, the toy poodle currently serving as the assist trophy in Ultimate is the same color as DH, so I pulled from Brawl's assist puppy to make a yellow lab-themed Duck Hunt, and then I made the duck pink because I could. I also decided to give them an alt that takes its inspirations from another dog and another bird from other Nintendo games. The dog I based off our old buddy KK Slider, the musician extraordinaire dog from Animal Crossing, aka that dog I like to heckle, and the duck I based on another Pokemon, Delibird, the ice-flying type joke character from Gold and Silver. Delibird, in true Santa form, carries around his sack of presents in his claws, not unlike how the Duck Hunt duck carries around the dog. Street Fighter's got a colorful cast of characters, but Ryu and Ken's costumes are pretty much all based on their various alts from their games. That's fine and dandy, but why not celebrate all the various other characters from Street Fighter? Out of the SF crew, my eyes were immediately drawn to Blanca, the green ape man from the deep jungles. Ryu's extant alts are all very subdued, so I think a little bright green couldn't hurt. For Ken, the choice was obvious. We can't have one American Street Fighter rep and not give him an alt based on the other. We gotta have a Guile alt. I want to say Ken and Guile don't get along despite being in-laws, but come on. This would also be Ken's only alt with different shirt and pants colors. Coincidentally, Ken also looks rather festive. Also, both he and Ryu need Don Hibiki alts desperately. Look at him! Currently, you can get Cloud Strife in any color so long as that color is black. But Cloudy here is a good edgy boy, so I made him this! You've met Cloud Strife, but have you ever met Clown Strife? In more serious alts, his last two Advent Children alts have him wearing the ribbon that Aerith used to wear around his arm, so why not make the tribute go a little farther with an Aerith-themed alt? This one will even change his hair to brown to match Aerith's. It really surprises me that they didn't already give Girl Corrin an Azura alt. She's such an important character to their game, and she's got a distinctive color palette of white and blue. Male Corrin gets a blue alt, but it's way too dark to be Azura themed, so I gave the white and blue look to female Corrin. The next two are two of an unusual pair. So in Fire Emblem Fates, Corrin has two assistants, Jacob and Felicia. The one that comes with you is the opposite gender to the Corrin you choose. Felicia goes with male Corrin, and Jacob goes with female Corrin, and the other joins much later. I thought it would be neat to give the Corrin's alts based on the opposite gendered servant in defiance of Smash's usual palette logic. I gave female Corrin a black, beige, and purple outfit like Jacob, and male Corrin a black, white, and pink outfit like Felicia. I had a lot of fun with Bayonetta's alts. She does change hair color in the Jeanne alt, so I had free reign to take those wicked weaves and get them in any color I wanted. I had two weird concepts for Bayonetta alts. So for some reason, Bayonetta plays Taboo in his spirit battle, and my first thought is, wait, Taboo is a girl? While we may never get an answer to that question, I did give Bayo a cyan, blue, and purple alt based on Taboo's color scheme. It's much more colorful than any of Bayo's current alts, but what's the harm in that? Secondly, I gave her a pink and black look based off of Wonder Pink, another Wonderful One from the Wonderful 101. Wonderful 101 is another Platinum Games project, and Wonder Pink herself certainly takes a lot of cues from Queen Bee. It was too hard to give Bayo Wonder Pink's darker highlights, so I incorporated the color elsewhere, but it would be really cool if this alt's wicked weaves had a strand of darker pink to them. So here's a fun fact, the extant Inkling colors loosely match the colors for their corresponding player numbers. They are the only fighters in Ultimate to have this distinction, so any hypothetical 9th costume would probably loosely align with whatever color a player 9 would get. The closest we have to a player 9 is the teal used for amiibo fighters, which is also close to this color used in actual Splatoon matches. Obviously real alts would get different clothes, but it's still fun to take the seafoam green ink idea out for a spin. Ridley is the only fighter whose fighter spirit not only doesn't match his default appearance, but also doesn't resemble any of his alts. That's cause his spirit artwork is from Zero Mission, and he doesn't have an alt based on his appearance in that game. So let's give him a green and red alt that looks like it. This one turned out really cool and creepy. I made the bits of Ridley's skin that are a slightly brighter shade of pink in the default into the same red as the wings. He looks like a bloody horror movie monster because he is. I also threw in a more jokey knot, Dark Emperor from the Find Me stage. Dark Emperor is played by Ridley in his spirit fight, so I thought it'd be funny to turn Ridley that same shade of cyan that he is. I also gave him red spikes to go with Dark Emperor's red eyes. Castlevania is probably the series in Smash that I know the absolute least about, and it's another one of those realistic series where not a ton of the people are wearing bright enough clothes for me to make alts off of. But there is one shining beacon. One single Castlevania character who stands out for his vibrancy, and that man is Luigi from the game Castlevania Simon's Reveal trailer and its successor, Castlevania Luigi's Mansion 3. I do actually think this looks good as an alt, and Simon doesn't already have a green alt, so win-win.
Yo, listen up, here's the story.
Richter Belmont! He is Simon, but blue. Even their boxing ring titles basically say as much. But I did actually give him a Castlevania-themed skin. I based Richter's new alt off the Dracula's Beast form as seen in Ultimate, which is based on his Beast forms from Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, which were Richter's games, so it's a really fitting and pretty color scheme. So this one is also based on a banana. Gator Boy's alts are pretty straightforward. You've got a whole rainbow of Croc, and a good amount of his underlings show up as a color palette. So I made him an alt based on Calypso. I know nothing about Calypso other than she's from Donkey Kong Barrel Blast, but that afro demands respect, so I made K. Rool an alt based on her. Isabelle may be the most famous Animal Crossing puppy dog, but she's far from the only one. Given that I already gave Duck Hunt Dog a KK Slider outfit, the next logical puppy was Harriet, the hair salon operator between Wild World and New Leaf. This turned out really cute, giving Isabelle pink fur like Harriet, who is a poodle, and while I couldn't fit all the colors of Harriet's apron onto Isabelle's outfit, I did give her a purple shirt and skirt, a blue sweater, bow tie and hairband, and white trim. I also thought it'd be a good idea to dip my toes into the dog villagers. I picked Cherry because she's distinctive and, an attempt was made. I liked making her bow tie and hairband the same color as Cherry's eyes, but, something about that mouth is just a little cursed. Incineroar is, to date, the only kitty in Smash if you don't count Morgana. But Pokemon alone has so many cats to choose from, I easily could have done 24 alts for Incineroar. So I narrowed it down to 2 cat Pokemon, the one most fitting of an alt for the fire cat that is Incineroar, and my personal favorite. Incineroar is actually not the first flaming kitty in the Pokemon franchise. That honor actually belongs to Litleo and Pyroar, which came out in X and Y, the only fire normal types in the franchise. Pyroar's striped manes translated easily onto Incineroar's stripes, leaving him with a cool red and yellow look, with a brown torso not unlike their bodies. And I also made him a Skitty alt because I love Skitty! And Incineroar pulls off the pink and purple look surprisingly well. Piranha Plant is already repping for basically all of his friends with his alts. I'm sure Veridi would disagree with me, but whatever, so I once again pulled on Pokepower to give me some alt inspirations. I thought it would be great for him to have an alt based on Nintendo's other best planty boy, Alolan Exeggutor. His stem would turn brown to resemble Alolan Exeggutor's massive neck, and the spots on his face would turn yellow, like its many seed heads. I also needed to give Piranha Plant based on my other favorite Pokemon, aside from Skitty and Alolan Exeggutor, the fluffy ball of joy that is Whimsicott, once a solo grass type, but now a grass and fairy type. It's so fluffy, and now, well, Piranha Plant is still not fluffy, but it is still cute. Joker kinda gave me trouble. Most of his alts are monochromatic, based on the colors of other Persona games, and then there's the 2 school uniforms that I said I wasn't gonna bother with. The only real oddball is the Goro Akechi outfit. Now, I could have made him more alts based on the other Phantom Thieves, but the reason he has the Akechi outfit, and only him, is because he's the only Phantom Thief to not show up in person in Smash outside of the Spirit Board. The others are all on his stage, and more pressingly, in his final Smash. Does he really need outfits based on his buddies when they're presumably waiting in the wings to help him out already? But guess who just guilted her parents into buying her a PS4? This dummy. In honor of the gullibility of my parents, I gave Joker a green, red, periwinkle, and magenta alt in honor of the PlayStation buttons. It's a lot more colorful than most of the rest of his alts, but it's really fun. Remember last summer when the 4 Horsemen rode to bring an apocalypse of RNG onto the Smash competitive scene, but then everyone realized that they were kinda just mid-tiers and they did not destroy the scene? Those were the days. So let's be honest, this alt is the best alt. Everyone loves Erdrick, he's got dope hair and he looks like Goku, and he looks so snazzy in this white and purple getup. It's based on the hero from Dragon Quest V, seen here in the final Smash, who also looks super snazzy. Man, I've been overlooking how really great of a color combo white and purple are. So I decided to let the other 3 in on the action. It occurred to me while I was making these that they probably picked Erdrick for the alt because he's the only one with a cape, so I had a bit of trouble deciding exactly what should and shouldn't be purple. And I slightly regret bringing in that shade of blue that 5's socks are because it kinda clashes with the purple, but still, they turned out great. But wait, that leaves Erdrick all alone because he's already got a white and purple alt. So for him, I gave him an alt based on Dragon Quest's most iconic and beloved enemy, the slime. Like Duck Hunt, I decided to make 2 new alts for Banjo and Kazooie, one based on a real species of bird and bear, and the other based on famous birds and bears in video games. For the real one, I made a black and white Banjo based off a panda bear, and Kazooie green and blue like a peacock. As an added inside joke, only male peacocks have the iconic green and blue color scheme while females are drab brown. Having Kazooie have the colors of a male peacock could work as a sneaky joke about her frequently getting mistaken for a boy. For the video game alt, Banjo gets the color scheme of a Beware, a sun and moon Pokemon who shows up as a Pokeball assistant Ultimate, and Kazooie, of course, becomes the Untitled Goose of Untitled Goose Game who should be in Smash! For Terry, I think it's only fair to give him an alt based on the woman, the myth, the legend, the rating riser herself, Mai Shiranui. Alas, we good boys and girls of Smash are too pure to revel in her glory, but no one said I can't give her color scheme to Terry. I even gave him the red hair. Moving on, there is someone else close to Terry who does not have triple D breasts and thus is okay to be seen in Smash, his brother Andy. Now this is kind of similar to the My alt, except it's brighter, Terry keeps his normal hair color, and a couple of other small details, so this would be a cool alternative if just the thought of My Shiranui keeps the ratings board up all night. Byleth was announced for Smash alongside the final wave of DLC for Fire Emblem Three Houses, Cindered Shadows, which introduced a set of 4 new characters, the Ashen Wolves. So I gave Byleth alts based off the 4 of them, Yuri and Balthus for male Byleth, and Happy and Constance for the female Byleth. As it is, aside from the defaults and the fused with Sothis looks, Byleth's 4 alts in the middle there correlate with the 4 routes of Fire Emblem Three Houses, the Dimitri alt for Azure Moon, the Edelgard alt for Crimson Flower, the Claude alt for Verdant Wind, and the Sothis alt for Silver Snow. Yeah, Cindered Shadows isn't a whole 5th route, but it is still a faction in the game with no alt representation, so let's fix that. I could easily give Min Min an alt for every single one of ARMS' colorful and creative cast of fighters, but 2 in particular stood out to me as being good alts for Min Min. First, Mechanica, which would give Min Min her yellow and black color scheme. This does look a smidge like one of her current costumes, the one that's based on one of her other costumes directly from ARMS, but this one is a bit more saturated and bright like Mechanica. Secondly, we gotta add a Helix themed alt. I imagine that if I had the patience to select each individual noodle and then color them alternatingly blue and pink, it'd look really close to Helix, but I still think it looks great even as it is. The Minecraft Kids. These little suckers got revealed after I did a decent chunk of work on this video, and I don't want to spend much time on them. The alts they have now are all of their Steve and Alex Minecraft skins. I like them, but what if they were blue? Let's try pink. Oh, now they're green. And one more for the road. Purple. Beautiful. And these ones are based on bananas. Are there bananas in Minecraft? This was a lot of fun. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game where all your memes can come true, and that's why we love it. Also, purple and white is the best color combination, don't at me. I am so very tired, but tell me your favorites in the comments. Mine are probably the Marth ones and King Boo Bowser. And if I get enough requests, I might do a follow-up. See you soon. I promise I'm working on something gigantic.